Close your eyes and picture an angel. Wings, white robes, soft light, a calm face. Now open the Bible. People tremble. Fire speaks. Swords block paradise. Empires shake. And often the first words are, "Do not be afraid," because angels were not cute. They were messengers, warriors, guardians, interpreters of visions, and signs that the invisible world had entered human history. So how did angels travel from divine terror to Renaissance beauty, to guardian angels, to Christmas cards? I'm Alex, and this is The Naked History. Today, we follow the evolution of angels, not as decoration, but as one of humanity's oldest answers to a question. If God is invisible, how does he touch the world?
The angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire. Exodus 3:2.
Angels did not begin with wings. The word angel first meant messenger. In Hebrew, malach. In Greek, angelos. Before an angel was an image, it was a mission. Someone sent, someone carrying a word, someone speaking with another's authority. That is why the angel of the Lord can feel so strange. He appears, but then he speaks almost as if God himself were speaking. Is it God, a messenger, a visible form of divine presence? The Bible does not always separate those categories neatly. To understand this, enter the royal roads of the ancient Near East. Across the second and first millennium before Christ, kings sent envoys across kingdoms. A messenger did not simply deliver information. He carried the authority of the sender. Biblical scholar Samuel A. Meyer studied this ancient Semitic messenger culture. It helps explain why a divine messenger could sound like the one who sent him. So when the angel appears in the flame, the point is not beauty. The point is authority. A message so charged with divine power that messenger and sender almost blur. The angel is the threshold where the invisible becomes visible, but once God becomes more distant, cosmic and transcendent, one messenger is no longer enough. Heaven begins to fill.
Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. Daniel 10:13.
Heaven was not empty. It was crowded. After the exile, and especially in the Second Temple period, angels became a whole invisible world. They receive names, they interpret visions, they protect nations, they fight behind history. Daniel gives us Michael and Gabriel. Michael protects, Gabriel interprets, and this comes from crisis. Daniel's final form is often linked to the 2nd century before Christ, during the pressure of Antiochus IV Epiphanes, the Seleucid king who ruled from 175 to 164 before Christ. Judea was under pressure, the temple was threatened, identity was attacked, politics felt like apocalypse, and when history feels like collapse, people often imagine the sky as a battlefield. Scholar John J. Collins helps us see Daniel as part of this apocalyptic world, where earthly events have heavenly depth. But crowded heaven also had a shadow. In the Enochic tradition, especially the Book of the Watchers, probably from the 3rd to early 2nd century before Christ, some angels rebel. They cross forbidden boundaries. They descend to earth. They corrupt the world. George Nicholsburg, a major scholar of Varnes Enoch, showed how these watcher traditions belong to the intense imagination of the Second Temple period. Suddenly, angels are moral actors. Some guide, some protect, some fall. Heaven is now a battlefield, earth is no longer alone, but even the angels who remain on God's side are not always sweet. Some do not comfort, they guard, they terrify. And that brings us to Eden, the guardians of sacred terror.
He placed the cherubim and a flaming sword. Genesis 3:24.
Cherubs were not babies, they guarded exile. Modern culture turned cherubs into little winged children, but biblical cherubim guarded the way back to Eden, not comfort, boundary, not sweetness, exile. Eden is not just lost, it is guarded. Cherubim belong to forbidden space, sacred presence, and divine danger. They appear at Eden's gate, over the Ark of the Covenant, and around throne and temple imagery. To understand this, look at the ancient Near East. In the 9th to 7th centuries before Christ, Neo-Assyrian kings placed massive winged guardian beings at palace and city gates. One famous example comes from Nimrud, from the palace of Ashur-Nisir-Pal II, around 883 to 859 before Christ. These were threshold creatures. They stood where ordinary space ended and royal or sacred power began. Biblical iconography scholar Othmar Kiel showed how Israel's imagination shared a visual world with its ancient Near Eastern neighbors. Biblical cherubim are not simply Assyrian lamassu, but across the ancient Near East, sacred thresholds were guarded by winged, hybrid, superhuman beings. So Genesis is not giving us a children's image, it is giving us a boundary scene. Humanity is outside, paradise is closed. Angels were not always here to comfort you. Sometimes, they were there to stop you. But Christianity would place angelic power around a new center, Christ.
The angel Gabriel was sent from God. Luke 1:26.
Christianity kept angels, but moved them out of the center. In the New Testament, angels are everywhere. They announce Jesus, they appear in dreams, they sing at the Nativity, they stand at the empty tomb, they appear in final judgment, but angels are no longer the main bridge between God and humanity. Christ is. So angels become witnesses, servants, heralds, and messengers inside the story of Jesus. Gabriel is the perfect example. In Luke, Gabriel comes to Mary. A messenger enters a room. A word changes history. The angel no longer appears only in deserts, flames, or visions. He enters a room where a young woman is alone. That scene became one of the most repeated images in Christian civilization. In 15th century Florence, around the 1430s and 1440s, Fra Angelico painted the Annunciation at San Marco. Gabriel kneels before Mary, quiet, domestic, almost silent. In that convent, monks passed these frescoes as images for meditation. Art historian Michael Sandoll showed that Renaissance religious images trained the eye, the imagination, and devotion. So Christian art did not only represent angels, it transformed them. Gabriel became graceful, readable, beautiful, human-like. The terrifying messenger became the elegant herald of Incarnation. When Luke says Gabriel was sent from God, Christian history sees heaven entering a room. But then theologians tried something even bigger. They organized heaven itself.
Thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. Colossians 1:16.
Medieval heaven looked like an empire, ranked, ordered, layered. Angels became part of a cosmic structure. Who was closer to God? Who governed what? Who protected the world below? This made sense in a world built on hierarchy. King above noble, bishop above priest, master above apprentice, stars above earth. So heaven itself became an order. Around the late 5th or early 6th century, a Christian writer we call Pseudo-Dionysius wrote The Celestial Hierarchy. He used the name of Dionysius the Areopagite, the Athenian convert in Acts. That borrowed authority helped his vision travel. He arranged angels into 9 orders: seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, virtues, powers, principalities, archangels, angels. 3 hierarchies, 9 orders, a universe of sacred rank. Then, in the 13th century, Thomas Aquinas developed this further. In the Summa Theologiae, written in the 1260s and 1270s, Aquinas described angels as pure intellectual creatures, created beings, not gods without bodies, but with knowledge and will. This was the medieval golden age of angels, not because people saw more angels, because they organized them better. The universe was not empty space, it was filled with order. Angels became the administration of the cosmos, but systems create excess, and sooner or later, someone asks, how much of this did the Bible actually say?
Their angels always see the face of my Father. Matthew 18:10.
Modernity doubted angels, but it kept the guardian. In the 16th century, Protestant reformers did not reject angels, but they attacked speculation. John Calvin warned Christians not to go beyond Scripture. He was cautious about elaborate hierarchies, and about giving angels the place of God, or Christ. In simple terms, yes, angels exist. No, do not build a fantasy world around them. At the same time, in Catholic Europe, guardian angel devotion became more concrete, especially in the 16th and 17th centuries. The angel became less a cosmic rank, and more a personal protector. Historian Antoine Mazurek has studied this rise of guardian angel devotion in early modern Catholic culture. That shift matters. The angel moves closer to the individual. Not only the angel of an empire, not only the angel of a vision, your angel. near the child, near the sickbed, near the traveler, near the person who survives and says, "I don't know why I'm still here." Then modern science changed the sky. The universe no longer needed angels to move the stars. Medicine no longer needed angels to explain survival. Psychology no longer needed angels to explain inner voices. And yet, people still speak of guardian angels, at funerals, in hospitals, after accidents, after grief. The guardian angel is what remains when theology becomes uncertain, but vulnerability does not. Matthew's line about their angels became powerful, not because it solved heaven, but because it gave fear a companion. Modernity pushed angels out of the cosmos, but not out of human vulnerability, not because modern people proved them, because they still needed them. So we began with the modern angel, soft wings, gentle face, protective light, but history gave us something stranger. Angels were messengers before they were images, guardians of forbidden space before they were babies on clouds, cosmic intelligences before they became Christmas decorations, and personal protectors before modern culture turned them into sentimental symbols. Across centuries, angels changed because human beings changed. Ancient kingdoms needed messengers of authority. Exile communities needed protectors in heaven. Temple cultures needed guardians of sacred space. Christians needed heralds of incarnation. Medieval theologians needed cosmic order. Modern people needed comfort in a disenchanted world. Theology trimmed them. Science displaced them. But the guardian angel stayed emotionally alive. Maybe angels never disappear because they stand where human beings feel the limit of the visible world. When we are afraid, when we grieve, when we survive something we cannot explain. The angel is not only a creature with wings, it is a question. What if the world is not closed? What if the invisible still speaks? What if heaven still touches history? Stay curious.